Woo! This has just been an absolutely crazy week if you are a football fan and more so a Manchester United fan. We have COVID running amok. We have UEFA misplacing their balls. I mean, it's just been a crazy week. But, this is United Hour, and we're going to be discussing all of it, including Ralph's Ragnick enforced exodus. Ralph has just got people flying out of the door with more outgoings to come and with a couple incomings to come as well. So stay tuned because you're going to get all of it right here. Hello, world, and welcome to another installment of the United Hour. I am President Chad, and let's see who we have inside with me. We've got man himself out there in Miami, Devin, and we've got Darren Garner, live and alive on the program. How you doing, Devin?
Not bad, thanks. I'm grateful for another week here. It's been a very hectic week to say the least. Just UEFA giving us a draw with United versus PSG first, and of course all of us called that. We all knew that that was going to happen. Come to see Ronaldo take on Messi, and you're like, okay, let's see what happens. You see some of the other draws. You come to find out later on that that was a draw that was not meant to be. They redraw, and then we end up going up against Atletico Madrid now. So David De Gea gets to go home. We get to test ourselves against a very defensive-minded Diego Simeone. Of course, he's gonna be pulling out all the tricks, trying to get our players riled up and whatnot too. And so that will be a very interesting one to say the least. And then just with this new Omicron variant and just messing up the Premier League right now. I know we'll get into that more later on in the show as well too. But I gotta tell you right now, if I were a fan that was traveling to that Brentford match, especially after paying for, if you're coming from Manchester, then you gotta pay for your trains to get down, for your accommodation, trains to get back, and then to be told at midnight their time, the day of the match, that all of a sudden it's a match that's not to be. I will be feeling some type of way right now. I'd be very vexed with the club to say the
Yeah,
least.
yeah. I mean,
Yes,
obviously that's the kind of thing to make you very upset.
yes, 100%.
Darren, how you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty fine, man. Pretty fine. Can't complain. Just go down.
What were your thoughts on the draw, the Champions League draw?
It's only so long conspiracy and corruption could occur until they get wrong, until they expose themselves.
Say that one more time, Darren. Say it one more time. Say it with a little gusto in your voice.
It's only so long. Corruption and bubble could go on before you get wrong. I mean, eventually, when the dark will always come to light. And that was just it. But they use some euphemism and try and play it on and try and make it look nice. But the world already know what went on.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Special good afternoon to you. So, guys, let's jump straight into it. We have a lot to discuss on the program and we don't have much time. So, the first thing I want to talk about is COVID. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I preferred when the only virus we used to talk about was Paul Pogba. You know what I mean? I, I don't know, but I mean, we had we had more control over that virus. You understand? It was something that didn't stop
It was
games. It
it
didn't
wasn't
mess
it
things
wasn't
up.
Pogba. It was his agent. Don't do Pogba that. His
But
agent.
man, all I know is that Mourinho said Paul Pogba was a virus.
The
I don't
agent is
know.
still there too.
I didn't
The
hear
agent is
nobody
still there
say
too.
Riola was a virus. You understand what I said?
But we know
But
better. But okay.
yeah. But I just saying, if I'm not calling Paul a virus, I'm just saying I would like to go back to those days when
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
only
yeah, yeah.
virus that we used to talk about was Paul Pogba. But anyway, so Manchester United's game against Brentford was called off. Manchester United's game against Brighton has been called off. And now there is great concern that our game, well, not our game, we're looking at the entire league. There is
Mm-hmm.
concern that the league may undergo a shutdown because of what is happening. Now, let me put it clearly where this is coming from. ESPN had it out today that a number of clubs have written to the Premier League telling them that they would like the Premier League to start the winter break early and to play no football for the rest of the season and well, not sorry, the rest of the year and start back at the end of when the original winter break was supposed to end, which we're looking at the 5th or the 6th of January. That is when the FA Cup games were supposed to start back. So a lot of clubs have written. Now, when they say a lot of clubs, I don't know where it's a lot of clubs. I don't know if it's 5 clubs. I don't know if it's 7 clubs. I know that Premier League clubs could vote on certain things. So I get the impression that it is maybe not, it hasn't reached the threshold, to say of I think it's like 14 or 16, if a certain, not just any majority, but if a certain majority votes on something or calls for something, they really have to consider it. So it probably hasn't reached that threshold as yet, but is not far from that. So we're going to be keeping an eye on what is going on at the Premier League or in the Premier League right now. But I mean, guys, apart from messing up my fantasy team, what are all of these COVID, you know,
So weird.
postponements, or what are they doing for you guys? Darren, let me start with you.
Well, in light of the COVID and the games, as an avid fan of English football, I mean, it's quite disheartening that a lot of the games being postponed, and then we'll have the controversial stance that some may say that some teams have an advantage because of the COVID. Because if you don't have a COVID outbreak at your club, but a team you're supposed to play in has one, you benefit rest wise, and some 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 even wonder if COVID threatened the continuance of the games, the league on the whole, because it seems to be rising much very, very fast. And I think it's threatening whether or not we'll even continue having games for the rest of the season. So, I mean, it's left to be seen.
Well,
And
the season is going to finish for sure. There's just a
Mm-hmm.
question mark of whether we're going to take a
oh,
break at
yes,
this
correct.
point here. But
But
Devin,
remember, before you go to Devon, sorry. Remember when City won last year, people said that they benefited from the long break that they had. Yeah. And, you know, but the amount of games that we're missing, yes, we were dropped because we haven't played the games. But some might even say that United might benefit from the games when we do decide to, when we do win out the games, because we have a lot of lesser teams, and I mean the amount of rest some of the players who didn't have it will get. You know, it'll be a controversial point. That's just my contribution.
well, it's twofold.
Mm-hmm.
One, players getting rest that don't have COVID is one thing. If you have COVID, I
You have
mean,
no
even
choice.
today, Kevin De Bruyne came out, and Kevin De Bruyne had COVID like over a month ago, and he was saying, that he's still feeling himself back. Remember, our own Paul Pogba took more
Mm-hmm.
than a month, took about a month and a half, 6 weeks before he started to look like himself. So there is a real concern for our first teamers who may have COVID, right? They may be resting in the sense that they're not playing, but that is something that has affect your lungs. And even if you may be asymptomatic in the sense that you don't end up in hospital, or you don't lose taste, or you don't experience the more severe effects of COVID, when you go out there and you start to try to run, a lot of people end up
Mm-hmm.
seeing or experiencing a different caliber issue. So that's one thing. The rest is one aspect of it. But there's the aspect of it I want to take to you, Devin. My concern is the Premier League is notorious for not protecting Premier League clubs when it comes to big competitions, right? They seem to be more interested in protecting their TV revenue than protecting clubs. We know when Spanish clubs go deep in the Champions League, when Dutch clubs go deep in the Champions League. These these leagues actually sometimes change the whole structure to make sure that these clubs don't play on the weekend, or if they play on, or even in Germany, they may let the team play on a Friday so that they will have enough time to prepare for Champions League. We know the English Premier League don't do that. They may know Manchester United have a Champions League game in the middle of the week, and it's not just us alone. It might be Liverpool, it might be Chelsea. They know you have a game in the middle of the week, and they will still let you play on a Saturday or on a Sunday, right? My
Hmm.
concern is we have no power over when these games are going to be rescheduled. Right now, we saying, well, yeah, the fellas going to get time to work on the system. Yeah, the fellas going to get time to rest, and that sounds all well and good now. Right now we could smile and say, yeah, fellas getting rest. Ralph going and get more time with them and da da da. But what about when these games are rescheduled and we
Hmm.
have games in the middle of the week, important games in the middle of the week? That's my concern. But you have any concerns about these postponements, or is just you're just missing football? Talk to me.
So it's probably my biggest concerns. You hinted at it before, is the performance of the players when they're coming back. What I was hearing, especially from a Brentford fan who we were supposed to have on this show originally, is that they thought that United was intentionally trying to get the game rescheduled so that way Ralph would have more time to learn the squad. Which obviously, with the news coming out now, I think there's only 9 players that would have been able to travel right now as it is from United, who don't have COVID or are not in the isolation protocol. So we know that to not be true. My the only well, this is kind of a good and a bad thing, is that since we're out of the League Cup, that opens up a date for us right there for rescheduling some of our matches. Another possibility, which I haven't heard this from anywhere yet, but I'm just wondering, is to push the end of the season that further, because I was trying to go through my head right now. It's the World Cup is not till December, so you still have the summertime to go ahead if need be. That could be another option as well. But I could also see if it comes down to scheduling and we play on a Tuesday and the only opening they have a Saturday is they say, well, go and kick rocks. Like what they did to Liverpool with the Club World Cup when they had their League Cup match like a day apart. I could very easily see them saying that as well
Yeah,
too.
the Premier League is notorious for that. They are notorious
You
for.
remember what they did to us in '99,
Yeah, go ahead.
where it was we were supposed to play the at the time, what was it, the Intercontinental Cup, I think it was. And so we were supposed to have an FA Cup fixture as well too, and they would not let us reschedule that fixture. So then you know what? We just said, fine, we ain't gonna play the FA Cup this year, and we were not able to defend. So it's they
Yeah,
have a track record with this. So
and this is my problem with the Premier League. Everybody else could protect their clubs,
mhm.
knowing how important Champions League is,
But the
knowing how
Premier League,
important even
so
teams playing in the Europa, let's get
so
protection,
so
except Premier League teams.
the problem then is that if you start rescheduling matches like that, then you're gonna have, like, for example, Sky Sports or somebody who's paying the Premier League £1 billion in TV money to get rights to these matches, and
No, I
let's
know,
say that's a
I
super
understand his
match
money,
or something like that. That channel, Sky Sports, is gonna be real vexed if you were supposed to have, I'm just gonna say, Man United, Chelsea on there, and all of a sudden you get Norwich and Newcastle because they had to reschedule the fixture. So if I were the TV networks, I'd be applying pressure or expecting rebates as well then too. So I understand it from that standpoint.
I understand exactly why the Premier League does what it does. I'm just saying that because we know how the Premier League could be, I am
Mhm.
just a little concerned.
But we also
Welcome
need
into
to
the
get that far
program.
into.
Welcome into the program, the man himself, Robert Wallace. How are you, big brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
What I see a ho in boy.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Oh, good.
All right, fellas. Let's jump into some Ralph Ragnick talk.
Oh
Right?
Lord.
Ralph Ragnick is doing a clean out. I mean, to be honest with you, I am not surprised by this whatsoever.
Rangnick at the
I
wheel.
always I always felt that when Ralph came inside there, the straightforward to the point, how Germans tend to be, that there would be a shakeup. The first man out the door is
Michael
McKenna.
Carrick.
Now, well, Carrick, I think Carrick had decided he was going to leave anyway. It didn't matter if it was Ralph, if it was me, if it was the Pope in Rome. Carrick was out the door. So we're
Carrick,
not calling Carrick the first man out the door. But
Carrick going before the Rangnick come out.
the first man officially out the door is Kieran McKenna. He is no longer working as an assistant coach for Manchester United. He is now the manager of Ipswich Town. I should have checked exactly which league Ipswich is in. Does anybody know?
I will check and see.
Are they in the,
It's either League One or League Two. It's either League One or League
League
Two.
One probably.
Yeah.
Okay, well. So Kieran McKenna is out the door. Now I can't say that I'm shedding any tears.
League One.
League One. Thank you very much. I can't say I'm shedding any tears. Not that I had any problem with McKenna, but I think that one of the things, Ralph, that is important is that we have real change. You understand? And change can't come when you have the same people in an organization all the time. So before we start talking about some of the players that have made it clear that they're looking to exit, and other players that the manager has kind of hinted that he's looking to get rid of, before we start talking about the players, let's talk a little bit about McKenna. Robert, we'll go to you first as you've now joined us. What are your thoughts when you heard about McKenna going to Ipswich Town?
I was glad because as you all know, in my opinion, once Ole left, to me, his staff also had to go because the reports were that Ole did not do training. So it was between McKenna and Carrick and Phelan that did the training. So, in my opinion, if they were the ones who were coming up with the tactics and the training and so on, then with Ralph coming in, they had to go because they can't have the same people who created all of this misfortune to still be here, and even in our last game, you still saw remnants of that Ole ball, still being played, and you can see that he wants to implement his own style, his own rules on the team, and you can't have people who were there in the old regime still there. So, the players have to buy in, and for them to buy in, you can't have anyone who was there before still there, and I would go even further to say, I know that he can't do it, but I would hope that in some small way that even our great Sir Alex would take a page out of that book and just step back a little bit, if you see things going right, just stay and say, okay, cool. If you see things going wrong, don't come down to Carrington and give a speech. It's like, because at some point we all need to let go of Sir Alex. At some point we do. All of us do. Even me. Because I don't think we as fans have really let go of him. And because he's still there, we still have this hope that maybe he will come back. But I am happy with it. I'm happy with the changes. I hope that his changes come in and these guys start to play ball.
All right, cool. Darren, what when you heard the news, how did you feel?
It's about time we clean out the deadwood. We have a lot of deadwood. And I am when I speak on this, a lot of people, a lot of fans of our club get angry with me because they think that we shouldn't be making the comparison. But if you want to be the best, you need to observe what the best doing and be better than them at it. And the elite clubs in our league, they understand that the world of football has evolved and they are going with the tide and are trying to fight against it and hold on to tradition. We have hold on to tradition and always speaking about the United way. No, I'm not saying that we should veer away from our identity. But what is the United way? The person that created and instilled the United way is no longer there. And there's nobody that will ever be able to recreate the United way. So we need to understand that, and the sooner we become pragmatic to that, And the sooner we understand that we need to always be ready to, to evolve with the times and adapt to what is necessary for success, the sooner we would actually have success at the club. Because we tried the United way with Ole, and all it did was give us some distant second, a third, a almost trophy. We don't have anything to show for it. So getting rid of the dead weight at the club and evolving with the time and bringing in people more specialized. Because quite frankly, some of these managers have never won anything anywhere else, and we just holding on to them. Some of them for sentiment, some of them because he was around long enough. I mean, come on, from management to players and all. Some of the players not of the quality of United, but we still keep them at the club for whatever reason.
Well, we're gonna be talking about players in a little bit. So let me just let Devin weigh in now. For those who don't know the history of McKenna, we got McKenna from Spurs, right? I think he was under 23 coach at Spurs or under 18, and we brought him across. He was our under 18 head coach, and he took our under 18s to winning the under 18 competition in the Premier League. And immediately after that success, he was propelled into the senior team setup. He was made an assistant coach under Jose Mourinho, and he has been an assistant coach at Manchester United ever since. So the first senior team that McKenna would have coached would have been Manchester United. Devin, you have any issues, any concerns with McKenna out the door, or are you glad to see him go?
Well, I wouldn't say glad to see him go, just wish him well and just time to move on. Yes, he did have begin his coaching badges with United and moving his way up through there. But it's still you are a symbol of the old regime. And unless Ragnick comes out and specifically says he wants to keep you under there, I feel if you get the opportunity to move on, you get the opportunity to grow as a coach, as a manager, you thank the club for it, and then you move on to get your opportunity at managing the club, not just a coach.
All right, cool. So, guys, let's go through some players. We're going to be talking about Dean Henderson. We're going to be talking about Martial. We're going to be talking about Paul Pogba. And we're going to be talking about Cavani. All of these players could possibly be leaving Manchester Lingard as early as January. So, let's talk about Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson has reportedly made it clear that he has reached the point now where he is ready to take another step. Before he was always saying that he wanted to be Manchester United number one, and he would fight for it, and he would this, and he would that. He's not saying that anymore. He wants to play football. I think this is a guy that was on the cusp of becoming England number one, got injured, missed the Euros, even as a sub, missed the Euros, and then came back to United and ended up getting COVID. So that was it, right? So Dean Henderson has made it clear, I want to play. We know that Ajax is possibly interested in him for a loan. Another team that is interested in Dean Henderson is is it Juventus? There are a couple other teams that are interested in Dean. So we're going to see if he's going to leave. I think it's a good idea for Dean to leave, not necessarily being sold, but at least on loan. I would like to see Dean go to Ajax, possibly even win
Mm-hmm.
something over there. I think
Mm-hmm.
that'll do his career the world of good, because we know Dean Henderson is a very good, and it'll also give the team and the new coach, whether it is Ralf Ragnick or whomever else is coming, let them have the opportunity to make a choice. So I don't want us to sell Dean in January, but I think it's a very good idea for Dean to go and get some good minutes at possibly an Ajax. What say you, Devin?
So I definitely think Ajax is the perfect spot for him to go on loan, at least to the end of the season. So remember, because if the reports are right, what's it called? They're Ajax's goalkeeper right now. What's his name? Onana. It's The talk right now I'm hearing is that he's going to Inter, so they're going to need a goalkeeper to begin with. The only issue that I could see with that is I think Henderson is cup tied for Champions League though. So, but besides that, it would be nice for him to play over there in the Dutch league. Win the, I'm gonna butcher the Eredivisie, I think is how you say it.
Mhm.
And so it will be a great opportunity for him to also, in addition to winning some silverware, get himself back in the England side because I feel that's one of the biggest reasons why he wants to leave. It's because he wants to be playing for a team somewhere to be competing with Pickford and Pope to get that spot and on the ticket to Qatar for next
Oh
World
boy,
Cup.
I don't know anything about Pope right now. No, right now Ramsdale seems to be the flavor of the month in the UK. Yes.
So well, him too. So there, but Henderson should be up there competing with those goalkeepers.
And you can't compete if you're not playing. Correct.
Correct. So
Um,
when it comes to that, I cannot blame him for wanting to leave. You wish him well. Yes, he's a United Academy prospect. Did very well coming through, and I am not ready for him to be sold yet, but I understand. And so have him go out on loan, prove his worth, come back, and give De Gea a run for his money.
all right. So Sean is saying United should have loaned or sold Henderson last summer. And I
Disagree.
totally agree with
I-
that. We had a decision to make, and we should not be entering this season with two number one keepers again. And it's been a
So-
while United has been doing that.
So also remember with that though, I think that it was pretty much Henderson might have had that number one spot though if it was not for the fact that he got COVID so late before the start. So that kind of moved United's hand to
Yeah,
just
well then
deal with
what
what
we
they had.
should have done is we should have sold David here. But he came back early and he made it clear he didn't want to go. We shouldn't be in this space where we have two number one keepers. But we in it. And I just don't want him to leave without giving the new okay, I'm hearing that Ramsdale is
No,
somebody's asking if Ramsdale is not Australia.
No, he's not.
No, Ramsdale is not from Australia. From my understanding, Ramsdale is English. So, Darren, I want to come to you, and I want to come to you concerning Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial agent has come out and said, "Watch, we looking for a move. We looking
Right.
for a change of scenery. Supposedly, it's too much work to get playing time at Manchester United right now because obviously he's behind the likes of Ronaldo, he's behind the likes of Rashford, he's definitely behind the likes of Cavani, and then these days we're seeing even Elanga being substituted ahead of him when he's on the bench. So in spite of all of that, we're hearing talk about a swap deal with Atletico. I don't know how seriously we could take that. I'm not saying Atletico wouldn't be interested in Martial, but normally when you hear a swap deal, you normally hear about a player that Manchester United would want. I haven't heard any player mentioned that we would want from Atletico. I mean, we all know that Atletico's right back, English right back, is somebody that we have been interested in, but I haven't heard his name mentioned. And he is on the last year of his contract. He's in the last year of his deal. So I don't know how that would make sense. But anyway, you're also hearing about Juventus, but Juventus wouldn't have the funds to buy Anthony Martial in the summer. So they're looking at possibly a loan deal till the end of the season, and then they would purchase him at that time. But Darren, for you, would you miss Anthony Martial if he leaves in January?
No. I mean, come on, let us be real. He had a good season. He had about 2 or 3 good seasons. His best being 19, 20, 17 goals. That probably peak. And that was about it. He ran cold last season. This season. Since after that red card against Spurs last season, Martial has not been the same player. He got opportunity with France. He looked decent with some few some substitution appearances, but I quite frankly wouldn't think that I would miss him. He could be a nice make weight to get our next player. I think if Atletico really wants him, we could swap him for De Paul. Yeah, they're one of their defensive midfielders. That would be a better option. Because Trippier's getting older. So how
All right,
much years
Robert.
is being cleared
I
now?
want to go to Robert with the same question. Would you miss Anthony Martial, Robert?
No, not really. No, because I think the guy had his chances, and the thing is, if we are going in this new direction, unfortunately, certain players just can't come. So he will have to go. I mean, he's nice to have around for, I guess, for squad depth, but then Martial is not the kind of player that you can bring off the bench. You know, he, he's very fragile. So he needs to start every game. He needs games to be running. So I personally would not miss him. If he could stay, it would be nice, but the reality is that he wants to leave, and I honestly believe that what Ralph is doing, he is upsetting a lot of staff and players, and certain people are seeing their position slowly but surely, going out the door. So I think Martial is just taking front and leaving. So if he wants to
Yeah,
leave,
I
let
agree. I totally agree.
mm,
If players don't feel they're gonna cut it in the system, if
mm,
players, because we have to remember a lot of these guys are very interested. They have an eye on the World Cup. And I'm not holding it against any player who tells themselves, if I get playing time, I could make the World Cup. You know what I'm saying? And
mm,
Martial has been in the French team for the last few internationals, and he is not going to make the French team if he's not playing. And additionally, I have a real problem in how much money we pay in Martial. I could see Martial's wages at £250,000 a week. I could see them wages off the books because he is not producing half of that worth or quality for United over the last 2 seasons. Let's talk a little bit about Cavani. Now, from my understanding, it's not that the club wants to get rid of Cavani or that Cavani necessarily has a problem at Manchester United. We know he's been injured, so he hasn't even been eligible. But Barcelona is in need of a striker. And if Cavani goes to Barcelona in January, he will
why?
definitely, hands down, be their main striker.
Why is he going there for?
Well, that is the question I'm going to put out there and ask.
To
Do
go and
you
play with
think that
who?
we should allow
Garbage?
Cavani to go to Barcelona,
No,
even if he wants to?
No,
no.
no, not
Barcelona
in
right
this
now,
window. Not in this window. No.
Barcelona right now is playing to division football, right? They need to go so no, no.
You really feel Cavani wants to be playing? Well, actually, is he cup tied? I'm not sure. Well,
Um,
actually,
I don't know.
well, even so, you really feel he wants to be
If
going
I'm
to
not
play Europa
mistaken,
In the
League?
Europa League,
UEFA changed the rules last season, and so players that were transferred in January can play. It comes like after the knockout rounds, they're starting that over. So, if I'm not mistaken, UEFA changed the rules to ensure that players who were substituted, who were sold or bought in January, would be eligible to play for the new clubs. So, I don't think being club tied is really an issue. But it should be told it wouldn't be an issue because Cavani wasn't playing in the Europa for Manchester United because we in the Champions League. So it really
Hmm.
wouldn't matter as far as Cavani and Barcelona is concerned. But you guys are saying keep Cavani. Tell
Yes,
tell tell Barcelona kick rocks. Yeah?
correct, correct.
And let Cavani leave at the end of this year would be his second year and let
Let
him go and do what he want for free.
let Barca take Martial, but we keep in Cavani.
mm,
Let Barca take Martial. I hear that. I hear that. So who else we have on the list? We had to talk about Paul Pogba. Now, Paul Pogba hasn't said anything about wanting to leave or wanting to stay.
is Big Phil here? No, right? That's all the
However,
real. He has to
he's the
go.
manager. The manager has said if anybody doesn't want to stay, he's not interested in keeping them. And everybody believed that I was thrown in the direction of Paul Pogba, right? Pretty much, if you're not signing a contract, it's time for you to roll out. Now, something very interesting happened on the Paul Pogba front today. Mino Raiola had a meeting with the president of Real Madrid because Mino Raiola is presently on his, I don't want to say world tour, but on his club
Mm-hmm.
tour,
Of
trying to see
course.
who he could get to buy Haaland, right? And probably some of his other targets because it's all about
Mm-hmm.
making that money. And he brought up the question of Paul Pogba to the president of Real Madrid, to which the president of Real Madrid made it clear he was not interested in Paul Pogba. I honestly believe that Manchester United may end up with Paul Pogba signing a new contract, not because he wants to be here, but because the money that he wants,
Mm-hmm.
nobody else is willing to pay, right? Real Madrid doesn't want him. PSG right now is stacked as stars. And even if they get Paul Pogba for free in the summer, they may not be willing to pay his wages. And then the other club that wants him is Juventus, but they also not going to be prepared to pay those wages. If what we're hearing about him wanting close to 500,000 pounds a week, if anything close to that is true, Juventus not touching that right now, right? They made it clear they can't even pay a transfer fee for Paul Pogba at the point in time, much less for those kind of wages. So, Darren, if Paul Pogba doesn't sign a new contract by January, should Manchester United pull the contract that's on the table and pretty much let him be a free agent and figure it out on his own? Or should we bail Paul Pogba out and leave that contract on the table between now to the end of the season? Because and if he can't find a home, that he would just sign and stay with Manchester United. Do how would you like this Paul Pogba saga to roll out?
Well, ultimately, I would like for it to pan out and resolve in a very civil manner. But throughout his tenure at United, Paul Pogba has been everything but civil. He has always employed some dodgy tactic using his agent, who doesn't mind being used as a voice to say all manners of things, and he not addressing and clearing the air. I mean, come on. There comes a point in time where it has to stop. When will Paul Pogba just settle at the club and do what's needed of him? He's consistently inconsistent, yet making demands of the club.
I like that. He's consistently inconsistent. And I
Yeah.
think that line totally sums up everything that Paul Pogba is. Darren, as a on you, I'm gonna throw this to you one time. We hearing transfer rumors about Rudiger from Chelsea to Manchester United. What say you about Rudiger to Manchester United?
Oh, first I'm going down the personal route. I cannot stand Rudiger. Rudiger is very wild. I ah I don't like Rudiger as a player. But a big but. If the opportunity does arise and we can get Rudiger, personally I'll put my personal bias aside and welcome him because he he is a player that he gets it done at the back. Yeah, and I think pairing him with maybe Varane would be a very good pairing. Or he might even make Harry look a little bit better because Harry only look good when he have an ex um somebody to clean up behind him now. In any centre half partnership, you need somebody to go front and somebody to clean up behind. Rudiger will be the man to clean up behind. So yeah, I would welcome it, but my personal preference to him, eh,
So Devin, right now Rudiger earns 5 million pounds, 5.2 million pounds a week, and Rudiger would like
Mm-hmm.
to get 10 million pounds a week. Now, some of us might think, well, that's a lot of money. Do you know who the? Let me ask you a question. If you don't know, it's okay. You could venture a guess. Who do you think is the highest paid defender at Chelsea right now?
Probably
Rashford.
Thiago Silva.
The highest paid,
I will argue
def-
Thiago Silva.
the highest paid defender at Chelsea right now is Ben Chilwell, at 9.8 million.
Annually?
Rudiger plays every single game. Ben Chilwell, if he's lucky, plays every other game. I could see why Rudiger wants 10 million.
Didn't Chilwell get injured?
Yeah, but even when he's fit, he
Yeah.
don't play every game. That's my point. My
Correct.
point is Rudiger is, I always say, and it is a saying, the greatest ability is availability. And apart from that, Rudiger has also added goals to his game, scoring in the penalty box. He's also very adept at getting forward, earning two penalties for Chelsea the other day. And talking about salaries, there's an easy question, Devin. Who do you think is Manchester United's highest paid defender?
Our 80 million pound slab head.
And his salary is £75,000 more than Chilwell. He's 9.875 million a year. I don't know about other people, but to me, if Rudiger comes to Manchester United, the person he's looking to be paired with is Rafael Varane.
Correct.
Sorry,
Harry.
I made a mistake. Rafael Varane is now the highest paid defender. But before, it was Harry Maguire, but Harry Maguire still earns almost £10 million a season. And that is the kind of figure that Rudiger wants. Would you take Rudiger at Manchester United, Devin?
Yeah, I would actually. It will be a nice dynamic to add in. It's another threat that we have somebody tall from especially from set pieces, and then apparently since pretty much all of our center backs are going down, with the exception of Maguire, it would help to add some more depth.
Going down, you mean in age?
No, in injuries.
Oh, you mean in injuries? Okay, well that's true. Since Rafael Varane has come, he's had 2 injuries.
I was saying Lindelof was doing well, but we don't know the extent of his.
And last season, Lindelof had back issues, shoulder issues, and then all of a sudden this season he started off well, but he's also having issues. So I hear that. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. I mean, Robert, I like Darren. I can't stand Rudiger. Rudiger looks like a yellow card waiting to happen. He looks unnecessarily aggressive. He seems like he does actually be picking players for fights. There is absolutely nothing about the guy I like. Now, don't get me wrong. If he was a Manchester United player, I probably would love him. But he's a Chelsea player, and I see him doing these things, and the man has pissed me off. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
However, if he comes to Manchester United and puts Harry on the bench, or with the World Cup coming up, probably forces Harry out the door, I don't know. He might grow on me, He might grow on me, Robert. What say you? How you feel about Rudiger to United?
Well, first thing first, right? You have to ask yourself one question: Why doesn't Chelsea want to pay him his money?
Wage structure and age.
Timo Werner, right, who is an absolute failure, right, earns more than him.
Yeah, but Timo Werner is a striker. I didn't talk about the highest paid players at Chelsea. I talk about the highest paid defender.
It doesn't matter.
Because he's a striker. Strikers get paid more.
Okay. If he was such an indispensable player, they would go and give him a new contract, correct? But he's not.
That's not true. I remember Chelsea is very strict when players start to get up in age. I remember there was an English left back. I don't know why I can't remember his name now.
Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole. At the point in time, he was the best left back in the league. And he was 30 or 31. And Chelsea refused to give him anything other than a 1-year contract. Even Lampard, when he hit 30, Chelsea was giving him 1 year at a time rolling. Chelsea they don't bend. And if we forget about the quality of the player, they don't bend. And then we remember Chelsea have a gazillion players out on loan. As far as they're concerned, they could replace Rudiger, whether
Right.
in the transfer window or by promoting one of the players.
Okay, and that's all well and good, right? But still, if this man, right, is so indispensable to them, why do they want to renew his contract? Because the manager, right, could fight for him, He's not.
But the manager is fighting for him. The manager has publicly said
The
if it was
man,
up to him, he'd have give Rudiger the money.
yeah,
But it's not up to
right.
him. It's not up to the manager.
I just find it is very, very fishy, right? And then all of a sudden, our name gets shown in hat because obviously it's our club, right? Any transfer that happens, our name have to be in it, right? Cool.
So you think Rudiger just using Manchester to get
He
Chelsea to
is
budge
just
and give him the money?
no. I'm not saying if he leaves, right, he will come back. He won't. But this is my thing, right? You don't date your partner ex-girl. You don't do it, right? You don't do it. Correct? Correct.
I disagree
So-
to an extent. Robin van Persie.
He was okay. To be fair, right? He was pretty.
Just now, Robert. Just now,
He
just
was
now.
rather good.
Just now,
Right?
Robert. Are you
Right.
saying
To be
you
fair.
could date your partner ex-girl if it's a 10,
She's
or if it's
right,
a 9, or if it's
right,
a
but
8?
he's not. No.
That's what you're saying.
9 or 10. 9 or 10.
She's not
no,
off
she
the
have to
table
be, no,
if
she
she
have
if
to be
she's not
worth.
enough. That's what
No,
you're saying.
she have to be worth the price. 'Cause remember, right, you're gonna you and your
The
partner.
man coming for free, Robert. Free. He
I
out
don't
of
care.
contract in the summer.
I
We
don't-
don't have to
I-
pay for him.
I don't care. I'm good. I don't care. I don't want to because he's not worth the hassle, right? Because you gotta understand, your partner ex-girl, right, is a 4. Rudiger is a 4 in my eye.
You consider Rudiger 4 as
Listen,
far as
to me,
defenders
him,
go?
he and Harry Maguire in the same box to me. As far as I'm
What?
concerned. As far as I'm
Nah,
concerned.
Rudiger don't make the
I
kind of
don't
mistakes
want, I
Harry
don't
Maguire has
want
made.
no Chelsea man in my team. I don't want none. They can
Well, they
all
could
stay
say
away
that.
and burn.
That is a
Whatever.
totally different argument.
no,
You
but I
can
don't-
say
no,
they don't know
because-
Chelsea, man.
But I just find that there's something very fishy about the whole thing,
Rudiger,
and it's too much. And I don't like how our name, as per usual, gets shown in hats. I don't like it. I don't like it. So I personally, I don't want him. However, if Harry Maguire is leaving, right? If he's going out the door, then maybe. But he has to be leaving. Harry have to be leaving the same time.
You'll take
Harry-
Rudiger. You'll take Rudiger if you could get Harry out the door.
Harry and Jesse and Paul, all out the door. Then cool, I'll take him. Right? I'll take him then. Not before. Not before.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't like the idea of buying Chelsea players either.
No.
But
Because
taking a
I'm
man like
just saying-
Rudiger for free
Yeah,
and
no, it's free.
really upgrading our defense,
Mhm.
I am definitely going with that any day of the week. You know what I mean? I have no issues with that at all.
Yeah,
but we got Matan and Matic from Chelsea, so
And we
That's
pay for
true.
those guys, right?
yeah.
so
Yeah, but that was then. That was then. I didn't
Nah,
care
I
then.
know then it's all about quality. The man is quality.
Rudiger is a
Hey,
good
if you
defender, but
appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.
So the next person on our list to talk about is, before we get to the boo-boo of the week and the hot shutter of the week, is there were some rumors making the rounds that Everton may be considering firing their present coach, Rafael Benitez, and hiring, or at least talking to, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Robert, how would you feel if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was on the sideline of Everton?
Oh, God. Hey. I look. I don't know. I just find that football to me is football is like FIFA now. It's not real. It's not real no more. To too much. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird.
How you would feel, Robert? How you would feel?
Honestly, I wouldn't care. I'm like, cool, go by Everton. I wouldn't care, but I hope. No. Here's my thing, right? I think Ole with proper backroom staff with real people behind him, I think would do somewhat well, right? So I think if he does go Everton, and again he has to bring in people who who will play his system, who will push him up the same way how yes, man.
Robert is freezing on us.
So the fact that David Moyes could be at West Ham doing very well, Ole could do well at Everton.
I
So I mean,
personally,
if he does take it,
I personally think Ole
my thing
would do
is
well without McKenna and
no,
not Carrick. What's the
no,
other dude's name that I always forget?
Phelan,
Mike
Phelan.
Feeling,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mike
yeah,
feeling.
I personally think
no,
Ole would do well with all these guys in the back of him. He gets some
it'll
decent
be
coaches,
it'll
but
be real
the
funny.
question is not whether he is going to do well or not, guys. What I want you to tell me, Devin, is how you're going to feel. Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm going to feel. You always want to
It's
wish people you love well. And I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He is a club legend, and I look up to him. But I don't know. When I heard this rumor, when I heard this paper talk, you know how I felt inside, like it was too soon.
no,
Like
I,
you and a
I,
girl break up.
I don't feel that way at all. It's
You and a girl break up, and in less than a week, you hear she dating somebody else. It's like it's just like too soon. But talk to me, Devin. How would you feel if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was to join Everton?
well, considering that we were the ones to let him go and he wanted to join another club, and it's not like Premier League opportunities come up that often as well. The man is situated already in England. I think his daughter is still playing in the United Academy, so it's close. He can keep his house in Cheshire, right between Manchester and Liverpool, and I would wish him well. He still comes to Old Trafford, and if I'm at a match, I will still be chanting his name because he is a legend, and you wish him well, and you wish him all the best. Just that he doesn't get 3 points that day that he plays us. That's all.
All right,
And
fair
he would.
enough. And what about you? What about you, Darren?
I'll be actually glad for him. A club like Everton, there's no title contention hopes hovering on his shoulders. Being mid-table would be very good. Being
You think a
top
mid-table club is, as Jody is saying in the comments, a mid-table club is perfect for Ole.
perfect for Ole, yeah. So if he does do better than mid-table and he comes anywhere between sixth, fifth, maybe even fourth, that'll be great actually, and he will be able to hone his skills and grow as a manager without the expectation. He was not suited for our club because too much to ask a young manager like him. So I'm actually ecstatic for him. I hope he does get through, and he's
I,
able
I,
to
I
develop.
just, I just feel like it'll be too soon. But I wish Ole well. Whatever he chooses to do, I wish him well. So if it's Everton, so be it. So guys, we heading into the boo boo of the week. Darren, you were here when we did a boo boo and top shutter of the week already.
I was not on the show. I was watching.
All right, good. So you understand, for those tuning in who may not know, the Boo Boo of the Week is the most unlucky, the guy who's having the most crappy week, whether in football, whether it's a player, whether it's a manager, whether it's a club, whatever it is, that's your Boo Boo of the Week. And your top shutter of the week is the person or club or manager or whatever in football circles that is having an amazing week, right? That is your top shutter of the week. So, who are we going to start it off with?
I got this one.
All right, Devin, go ahead. Who is your boo boo of the week?
Raul Jimenez.
Go ahead, explain.
So anybody watch the Wolves match on Saturday?
Yeah.
A man gets a yellow card for a foul, a stupid foul, and not even the clock was still running, but the actual time, maybe 10, 15 seconds later, he gets a second yellow for time wasted for intentionally blocking the free kick and gets sent off for 2 yellows because of that.
And his team was 0-0 against City. Yeah? They had everything to play for. They were in the game.
And then they lost the plot in the second half. So
yeah, Raul Jimenez, I agree with that. Boo boo. I'd get an official boo to play in the background sound when we talking boo boo for the week. Because Raul Jimenez, I was watching that game and I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's going to get himself sent off. And sure enough, he did. And who's your top shot of the week?
You know, this one it's tough because there wasn't really much football to be played this week, and so I mean, if I'm going purely from a footballing perspective, and it's gonna this is gonna pain me to say it, I'd have to say Pep Guardiola for winning 7-0, and I hate to say that as a United fan, but that was the outstanding performance of the week.
I hear that. Robert, who's your boo boo of the week?
I have two. My first one is Xavi for being the manager of Barcelona and losing to Boca Juniors. He is a failure of absolute failure of a man.
And who's your next
Yes,
boo boo?
Xavi is just bad. He just really poor. And I will have to give my top shotter, unfortunately, to Arsenal for actually for getting into fourth place. Like Arsenal, the past 2-3 years, usually when they have a chance to make it up the table, they don't. And for the first time, they won last week, they won again this week, and now they're fourth. So I will give it to Arsenal for the top shotter of the week.
All right. Darren?
Yeah, well, my boo boo of the week is a photo finish between UEFA, Sporting, the draw, and Leeds taking a dump, but getting dumped on 7. Yeah. I mean, UEFA, come on, they could do better than that. And I mean, I think they almost needed a redraw for the redraw. So come on. And Leeds, that was quite unfortunate. I feel sorry for the manager, even though I know he has one style and he sticks with it. He live and die by it. So I guess he really died by it this week. And it was proven kind of difficult to get top shutter, but the only thing that really stood out to me was it's Fred. Like Fred has really come into his own under Rangnick. Well, since Carrick.
What? Fred get top shutter of the week twice, 2 weeks in a row. Last week, both Robert and myself called Freddie top shutter.
Yeah, Fred. As right now, I'm thinking about how we could rebuild our squad, and in my mind, Fred is undroppable. Based on the manager we have and how he plays and what he wants, Fred is undroppable right now. So yeah, shout out to Fred, and he might finally start to get the love he's supposed to get because he's playing in the position he's supposed to play. Box to box and not a strict central defensive. Yeah, shout out to Fred. That's top shot of the week.
All right, cool. My boo boo of the week is Lille, because Lille got Chelsea and they probably thought to themselves, yeah, well, there's a hard draw. And then they saw the draw coming down and other people got Bayern Munich and they were like, yeah, man, we're going to get easier draw. And then they end up pulling Chelsea out. It was like, can't get a break. You know what I mean? You draw twice and you end up pulling the same hard team that you pulled the first time. It's like, well, And coupled with that, to be honest with you, the real boo-boo of the week is UEFA.
Yep.
Because that is like total failing. How could you mess this up? Coverage, global coverage. And that is what has happened when you take an ex-Arsenal player and give him something to do.
I tell
I
you,
hope UEFA learns, and I hope they never do that again.
the only person
We,
who messed up more than UEFA this week was
Funny,
Michael
didn't
Massey,
bar for the draw,
the Formula One race director. That's the only one who messed up more than UEFA this week.
you understand? So that's my boo-boo for the week. In terms of my top shutter for the week, as you all say, it was really hard. It was really hard to get one, but I would have to say Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne has looked a shell of himself since getting COVID, and getting 2 goals against Leeds and almost having a hat trick. He had a really good game. You know, that will definitely be a boost to his confidence. I'm sure he's feeling like he's feeling like a shutter right now. He's feeling like a top shutter. So my top shutter of the week is going to have to be Kevin De Bruyne. It pains me to say that a Manchester City player is my top shutter of the week, but that's what happens when you hardly have football in the week, right? Manchester United should have played twice, and we haven't played. So top shutter of the week is Kevin De Bruyne, being an instrumental part of Manchester City's complete demolition of Leeds. So guys, thank you all very much for being part of the program. Martin Phillip is saying Fred for Pope. I know there are a lot of people in Brazil that would support her. We'll see how that goes. So, as I always say, remember, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Good night, everybody.